Look who's talking now.
You really hit the dollar bins pretty hard, didn't you?
Now, come on now, man. Holiday episode. Is you ready?
I'm as ready as I'm going to get.
Excuse me, I'm interested in the new collector's ornament from Hallmark.
Ah, the shuttlecraft Galileo from the Starship Enterprise.
Precisely.
You know, it lights up when you plug it in. And listen.
Shuttlecraft to Enterprise. Spock here. Happy holidays. Live long and prosper. Fascinating.
For a store in your sector now carrying the Star Trek ornament, call 1-800-HALLMARK.
Live long and prosper, right?
No, I'll take 5.
Just in time for the holidays, it's the second annual Siskel and Ebert Holiday Video Gift Guide.
You don't need this game.
Tonight at 10 on Channel 13.
Before we get into all of our fare,
Okay.
what have you been watching this month? Anything Yulish, very Yulish, anything like that?
Anything Yulish? Not really. Maybe I'm just saving it for later on. I mean, it is a tradition in my household that on Christmas night we push a giant reset button and pour a big glass of bourbon and watch Apocalypse Now, just as a kind of a palate cleanser.
Okay.
Apocalypse Now Redux, by the way, not the.
Oh,
Yeah,
the French
I mean,
plantation scene.
Going all in on that.
Wow.
As far as holiday movies go, I don't have any real go-tos for that. That's just a fault of my own, I suppose. There's a lot I could pick from, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really established that tradition. I don't watch A Christmas Story anymore. I'm over it. For years, I'm over it. I could never see that again and be perfectly fine. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about something else here, like the Pine Barrens go into negative space sort of Christmas thing here.
The unconventional Christmas classic.
Exactly.
Alternative fare.
Yes.
If it's got Christmas anything in it, I'll let it ride.
Okay.
So that whole Die Hard is a Christmas movie debate that's been going on.
Okay. I have quite a bit to say about that. So, but go ahead.
Okay. For me, there's no debate there at all.
Okay.
You got Run DMC, Christmas, and Hollis on the soundtrack. It's Christmas time.
Okay.
Boom. That's it. That's all I need.
When I was thinking about this, as far as the unconventional Christmas movies go, I kind of broke it down into 3 broad categories. Now, don't act surprised. You knew I was going to do something like this. Get all weird and pedantic about it. But category 1, I would say, is what most people would think of in this regard is the F Christmas category.
Okay.
This is your middle finger to the holiday film. This is where I would put Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Silent Night, Bloody Night, Christmas Evil, stuff that was genuinely geared to being outrageous and being controversial.
Right.
That kind of film. My second category is a little weirder. This is what I would call the true spirit of Christmas movie. Now, this can include a couple of different things. This can be either movies that deal with pre-Christian or proto-Christian mythology. This is where I would throw a Krampus movie into that mix. There's another one I want to talk about that called Rare Exports, which if you have seen is weapons grade Bonkersian. I would also throw into this category of true spirit anything that talks about the anxiety and crass commercialization of the holiday itself, which I would, you could include National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in that, or maybe Jingle All the Way in that.
Yeah.
If you're feeling generous. The third category I would call Christmas-ish or Christmas adjacent. That's where I would put Die Hard. stuff that's set during the holiday but doesn't necessarily have that much to do with commenting on it necessarily. And this is really broad because once you establish that, you can throw a lot of different movies into that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Not just Die Hard, but I think I mentioned Hardware once in the distant past as a Christmas movie because they breathe the word Christmas a couple of times.
Yes.
You could throw Batman Returns into that.
Absolutely.
Eyes Wide Shut would count as a Christmas movie if you're going that route with it. You could throw the much maligned movie Go from 1999 into there because it involves a heist on Christmas. I mean, that is kind of it's kind of a giant grab bag of stuff you could throw in there. But those are the silos I would drop things into.
Okay. My silo is like it's Fruity Pebbles. It's everything's mixed together. So I'm just, whatever. But I'm with you because that final category is where a lot of these outliers.
Well, it does. When people say alternative Christmas movie, that's where a lot of them come from. They're not, it's just, it has a tree in it, therefore it's a Christmas movie. Die Hard may be an exception because it leans a little heavier into it than most.
Right. As does the sequel. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that, and then Lethal Weapon is always one that people are like, well, even more so than Die Hard. Yeah, it takes place around Christmas, but your opening title song is a Christmas song. Your end title song is a Christmas song. So your book ended by Christmas.
Okay.
And of course, that's the beginning of that Shane Black trilogy. Also with Long Kiss Goodnight and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. So underrated still to this day.
I do love that movie a lot.
Yes.
But I don't think of it as a Christmas movie, but I do love that movie.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is like, you don't necessarily have to think about them as Christmas films per se, but let's say you're having a marathon and you could go all in with your Miracle on 34th Street. Your umpteenth rendition of A Christmas Carol or whatever. But these are good little movies,
for example.
Yeah, these are good little movies to kind of throw in like little, wedges in between, right?
Yeah.
To kind of, in a way, like almost like a palate cleanser, but also like, it's a fun movie, just happens to take place at this time.
For that, you could throw in something like The Ref.
Oh yeah.
Or of course Bad Santa.
Well, Bad Santa is like total Christmas though.
Yeah.
You gotta, I mean, if it's inherent in the title as well, I mean, there you go.
I mean, you could add Gremlins or
absolutely. Gremlins is definitely on that list. Yeah.
The lesser than of the trilogy, A Very Harold and Kumar Christmas, which I believe is also in 3D.
Yes, it is.
I don't know where you would categorize something like Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. I don't know if that's really a
top
Christmas
of the list, pal,
or not. Of my three categories, I couldn't figure out where to put it.
Well, that would be.
I don't know,
because it is Santa Claus in the title, and it is Christmas. To me, that's an outright Christmas movie. It's unconventional in the sense that it's not your typical type of fare. But,
no, that is one way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so exciting, so amazing, you'll want to tell all your friends about that wondrous day when red-faced Santa meets the green-faced Martians. You'll see it all when Joseph E. Levine presents Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
And Batman Returns is a perfect example of unconventional, right?
Of course.
But it takes place at that time. And that's a nice little movie. Plus, here it is. Like, Batman, for me, is very Christmassy anyway. Because I remember Christmas '89 getting that Batman VHS.
Oh, that's original. Right.
What kid didn't get that damn movie that year?
I was one of them too.
Sure. Yeah. So it's part and parcel. So for the next movie to be that, and then the year after Batman Returns, they released Batman Mask of the Phantasm at Christmas time. Plus, if you even want to go further back to the old Peter Pan Records days, Power Records back in the 70s,
Okay.
the Super Friends Christmas album that has 3 stories: Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. It's a standard for me. I've had that album since I was a kid.
Wow.
And I listened to it all
Okay.
the time. And yeah, anyway.
Well, I was speaking of VHS, Silent Night, Deadly Night holds a special place for me because one, it was 1984. So it came right in the middle of the Reagan era conservative cultural backlash against anything that was fun at all, and was instantly seen as the most blasphemous thing to hit theaters in decades. I mean, I think it was pulled out of theaters after a week.
Yeah, it was pulled. TriStar washed their hands of it. They sold it off. They wanted nothing to do with it.
Well, also, but being in 84, it came right in the very beginnings of the home rental boom. And parents were absolutely mortified that some kid was going to wander into a video store and see a box on it with Santa and pick this movie out and watch it and be traumatized for life. And won't someone think of the children and that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to fathom the hysteria about that. When I think about the 80s, I think about the hysteria in terms of entertainment and toys and all that. In 84 with Silent Night, Deadly Night, not too long around that time with the Cabbage Patch Dolls, like that whole hysteria. I wanted to see the movie, and the TV spots that's what pissed everyone off, because the people who were outraged over it didn't actually see the film.
Yeah.
They were picketing the theaters, and today no one would bat an eyelash at that now.
No, they wouldn't. It feels lazy now.
Yeah.
To do a movie about evil Santa just feels like kind of like you're phoning it in almost.
Right. What else?
Okay, whatever. Yeah, go on.
We've been there, done that. But the funny thing about that movie is it was all in the advertising. I love the movie, but if you look at movies before it, Christmas Evil in particular, that got by without people knowing because it didn't have that fanfare behind it, publicity.
No, it didn't.
That following year, TriStar released Santa Claus the Movie.
Seeing is believing.
They didn't produce the film, but they did it almost as a way to repent, I believe, for how much they pissed everyone off with the previous Santa Claus film.
I'm sure they were very sorry about the previous Santa Claus film.
You've made it through Halloween. Now try and survive Christmas. Silent Night. Deadly Night.
We want to go unconventional route because I got stacks.
I'm sure you do.
I will start with who I deem to be like kind of the king of unconventional Christmas fare. Yet he's never made an outright Christmas movie. And that would be,
drum roll,
Sly Stallone.
Oh, God.
Cobra. Okay.
All right.
Christmas, right?
Uh-huh.
And we got, of course, Rocky IV. The match takes place on Christmas Day.
Okay.
Rocky IV.
Rocky V, the last half of that movie takes place at Christmas. What other movie takes place at Christmas time? First Blood, baby.
Sylvester Stallone. First Blood.
All right.
Paradise Alley has a little bit of Christmas in it. I'll throw it in the mix, The Get Carter remake, the second remake, by the way, takes place at Christmas time and has Christmas tunes on the soundtrack. So there you go. Boom.
Well, were any of those Stallone movies you just mentioned, was there any particular reason for them to be set with a Christmas setting that you can think of necessarily? Would it have affected the movie in any way if it had been set?
No, I think that's just the backdrop. But
were they
the original?
I don't remember. Were they released during the holiday season, or was that a thing?
Well, Rocky IV was ahead of Thanksgiving. That was Thanksgiving. It was like on a Wednesday right before Thanksgiving. So that would have probably been released at that time anyway, whether or not it had anything to do with the holiday. But
Probably.
it's not intrinsic to the storyline. But I just have an inkling that he loves Christmas. What the hell? And maybe he doesn't even realize it. In fact, in Staying Alive, which he directed, he didn't star in that. He does have a brief cameo, but there's a bit of Christmas in that as well. So
So he's got like Shane Black syndrome where he has
maybe. And then you also have,
I mean, Iron Man 3 could be a Christmas movie if you want to look at it that way, I suppose.
all right, so that's Stallone.
Yeah.
You did mention Dolph Sember.
I
Great
did.
Dolph Lundgren.
How could I not?
Which,
I know
by
you're
association with Mr. Stallone.
You're in the middle of your marathon right now, so
of course, he started out doing Rocky 4.
Right.
Well, View to a Kill and then Rocky 4.
Yeah.
But he's done quite a few Christmassy movies too. The biggest one next to Rocky 4 would be I Come in Peace.
Oh, wow. Okay. I got you.
Yeah. That's very Christmassy.
If you say so.
Long before he did the Minions, was it the Rise of Gru or whatever? He's a voice in that. He actually did a movie in the 90s called The Minion, which I'm sure they weren't clever enough to make reference in the film.
I don't think so. No, I don't.
Yeah. It takes place at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is kind of a long shot, but I love this movie and it's worth mentioning.
Okay.
Men of War starts out at Christmas time. So I'm taking it. Okay. I'm taking it. Great flick.
All right.
Underrated. And then one of his more recent films, Don't Kill It, which is this horror, kind of comedy at times, but it's mostly horror action movie. Takes place at Christmas. The first film he directed, The Defender, takes place at Christmas time.
I have heard of that. I don't know if I've seen it or not.
Well, you should see it. Jerry Springer plays the president, so right there.
Oh, okay.
By the way, in terms of Die Hard and Die Hard 2, Die Harder, being you may as well just throw in the Christmas episode of the very shortly lived animated series that Bruce Willis was involved with, Bruno the Kid.
No.
The episode The Last Christmas.
Oh. So this Hot on the Heels of this hit Bruno album, I believe. Yeah.
Now, this was actually late 90s.
Wow.
This is like 10 years after the return of Bruno. This is 97, I believe. Where he found the time to voice this character for 13 episodes while he was like one of the biggest movie stars in the world at that time. And I think that was around the same time as I remember going to the theater and seeing like a non-Bruce Willis movie, but having to sit through 3 Bruce Willis trailers before. Like, what?
So, what's up? I assume you're not calling me to wish me a Merry Christmas.
What do we got now? Well, since we're on the tough guy front, we got to throw in the Chuck Norris Christmas Tale, Invasion USA.
Of course.
Joseph Zito masterpiece.
I believe that is the one where we pause in the middle of the movie to see Chuck Norris watching Earth versus the Flying Saucers, I believe. Is that the one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to go with Charlie Band on the next one. What Charles Band?
Charles Band movie. Out of 354 or whatever it is.
Yes, but
he's up to these days.
He directed it.
Directed it. Okay. Who's in it?
Well, if I tell you, you'll be like, "Oh, I know."
No, probably not.
Tim Thomerson.
Tim Thomerson. Okay. That narrows it down, doesn't it? It's Tim Thomerson and it's a Christmas film. It might be Doll Man.
That would be more fitting because what if the kid got Doll Man for Christmas? But no, it's actually the original Trancers.
A second guess.
With Helen Hunt. Also, Trancers 3, Death Lives, takes place at Christmas time. Trancers 2, not so much.
The one I would always think back on is Rare Exports, which is just weapons grade bonkersium of a film. I don't know if it got a solid release anywhere. I've seen it streaming. I think it played at Texas Theater once for Christmas a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I just happened across it, but it is, even trying to describe it to people, they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Yeah, the elves are all naked old men. It's great. It's a fantastic Christmas movie.
Is that one you watch often?
No, I think I've seen it twice just to make sure I saw what I think I saw.
And then you still don't know what you saw.
I'm still not exactly sure what the hell was supposed to be happening. But it is interesting because it touches on a side of the Christmas mythology that you don't normally see. Kind of like the Krampus stuff. I mean, there's been more than one Krampus movie. I think most recent.
There's probably been
one
50 of them
everybody
if you
knows.
really go into the underground on
50.
it. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of those traditions that could have movies made of them that would probably be just as interesting. Like Frau Parchta, which is kind of a Southern Germanic tradition.
Is that with Cloris Leachman?
No, that's Frau Blucher. Frau Parchta, the belly slitter.
Oh.
The tradition goes that you have to eat a whole bunch of cakes on Christmas to fatten your belly up, so her knife will just bounce off of your stomach as she's trying to cut your intestines out. And if you don't eat the right food, she'll cut out your intestines and replace it with gravel and then sew you back up again.
Damn.
That would be great.
Okay.
There's another one that I really love that I don't think has had a movie made of it, about the Kalakanzaroi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a Greek Macedonian superstition. The story goes that if a child is born on Christmas Day, because they are drawing attention away from the holiday, they are then forever cursed to once a year turn into a werewolf, kind of demon child.
What Bond film takes place at Christmas time?
Bond film takes place at Christmas time?
Even has a John Barry composed track on the soundtrack album, a Christmas song. It's very snowy scenario.
Very snowy scenario. Okay. The only one that pops in my head is Spy Who Loved Me, but I don't think that had the Christmas stuff in it. That one or On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Bingo.
Okay. The one I've actually gone back and watched the least. So that
really
makes sense. Yeah.
That's like probably my favorite.
It's the one of the few that follows the book really closely. One of the very few of those. Normally they didn't. They took the title and threw everything else out.
So back to Charles Band, although he had nothing to do with this. He sold, this is a point where he sold the rights to the Sci-Fi Channel to produce something. So they did Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys.
Okay.
Definitely not great. Definitely not great. But you got Vanessa Angel and Corey Feldman are your leads.
Vanessa Angel. Oh shit. Okay.
She's the baddie in that one. And it's fun. It's a fun, well, it's bad, but it's kind of fun. I should put it that way. And we got a lot of sequels, by the way, that just happen to take place at Christmas. Maniac Cop 2.
Oh Lord.
Larry Cohen and Bill Lustig, baby.
Yeah.
People forget, but it definitely takes place at Christmas. Jaws the Revenge.
Jaws the Revenge. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Look Who's Talking Now.
You really hit the dollar bins pretty hard, didn't you?
Now, come on now, man. I got paid $10 for this. What do you mean dollar? We're gonna go for some classics here.
Okay. Look Who's Talking. He owns a copy of Look Who's Talking Now. Okay.
And,
go ahead.
I have the other two. If that's your next question. I have the other two.
I wasn't going to ask, but okay.
Night of the Comet.
Real? Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's true.
You do have Mary Warrenoff in this, so it's a nice little. She was in Silent Night, Bloody Night, of course, and later on, she did the Munsters' Scary Little Christmas. So it's a nice little Mary Warnow Christmas trilogy there. A lot of good stuff from up north. The Brain. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
The Brain. I haven't seen it in years and years and years.
Good fun. Good old David Gale performance in this. Yeah. It's fun. Christmassy.
Very festive.
Yes. This one you may or may not know. Predominantly, it was released theatrically as Pranks, but it was also known as The Dorm That Dripped Blood.
I know it from the second title.
Takes place on Christmas break. The score, early Christopher Young score for Pranks, pretty damn fun. David Cronenberg. Rabid.
Oh, Lord.
Christmassy. Italian little ditty called Night Train Murders, aka Last Stop on the Night Train, Christmas Massacre, The New House on the Left.
New
It
House
takes place on a
left.
train. So
Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense. Sure.
Multiple titles. Takes place on. It's a ripoff of Last House on the Left, obviously. And
but on a train, you say.
Right.
The last stop on the night train.
It's a grim little, depending on how you feel about Last House on the Left, it's very much in the same vein. But the best attribute to that film is it has a killer score by Ennio Morricone. Really grim, awesome.
Is there a not killer score by Ennio Morricone?
That's true. Yeah. But
it goes without saying.
It's pretty damn good. Okay, this is a horror. Well, it's more comedy than horror.
Mm-hmm.
And few people know this one. It's the second film that Anthony Perkins directed after Psycho 3. Lucky Stiff.
Never heard of this.
It's fun. Blue Sunshine. It's Christmassy.
Okay, if you say so.
Well, and I confirmed that with Jeff Lieberman, and he goes,
"Oh, well, Lieberman."
He goes, "Blue Sunshine is a Christmas movie." So I'm running with it. You might know this one. I hope you know it because it's a great movie. The Silent Partner with Elliot Gould, Susanna York, and Christopher Plummer.
I'm not sure if I've seen it or not. If I've seen it, it's been so damn long ago, I don't remember.
John Candy's in it as well. Another Canadian classic. Yeah.
Huh. Where would you place Trading Places in this mix? This next
right
on
here,
the stack?
baby.
Okay. I should have seen that coming.
Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Lee Curtis. What other Christmas movie? And this one is a Christmas movie for sure. Features Jamie Lee Curtis and Dan Aykroyd.
Okay, he wasn't in Terror Train.
I don't know. Yeah, no. Although there's a train in Trading Places, so
that was David Copperfield.
Yes.
Jamie Lee Curtis and Dan Aykroyd. I'm drawing a blank.
Christmas with the Cranks.
Oh, that's why, because I never saw it.
Another thriller, kind of a forgotten movie, and didn't do extremely well at the time, but I dig it. It's fun. It's a fun ride. And we just lost him this year, the great Ray Liotta. We got Turbulence. Lauren Holly.
Yeah, I remember they marketed the hell out of Turbulence, and it just kind of didn't click with people, I guess.
And the score by Shirley Walker is pretty awesome. It's got some Christmas music on there as well. Vice Versa.
No. Why do you
horrible cover? Horrible cover.
Why do you have a copy of Vice Versa?
I love this movie since I saw it at the theater. Are you kidding?
Okay.
I mean, come on. Judge Reinhold, Fred Savage. Come on.
Okay.
I had a huge crush on Christine Borer, by the way, at the time. That played Judge Reinhold's girlfriend. Yeah. This has got some Christmas in it, It's not
All
full
right.
on Christmas movie, but this is a great flick, and it's warm and cozy classic. I'm sure you've seen it. The Man Who Came to Dinner, based on the stage play.
Okay.
Yeah, you got Jimmy Durante in here, Betty Davis,
I don't
Monty
know if I've
Woolley is the lead. He's the
Okay.
man who came to dinner. They show it on Turner Classic Movies every so often around Christmas time, so give it a shot. I think you would dig it. Another classic that has some Christmas in it, but the packaging, thankfully, is kind of leaned towards Christmas, is Bob Hope's The Lemon Drop Kid.
Oh, Lordy.
Fun. Most people don't know this movie. When I first saw it, I fell in love with it immediately, but it's 29th Street. With Anthony LaPaglia and Danny Aiello and Frank Pesh, who recently passed away.
Heard of it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's Frank Pesh wrote it along with James Franciscus. They had met when they did the movie Killer Fish years earlier. And it's based on Frank Pesh's life story about winning the New York lottery, the very first New York lottery, on Christmas Eve, 1976, which is my exact birthday. Anyway, yeah. But the only thing that's fiction about it is he actually did not win. So he made like a fable out of his experience, basically, and that's what this movie is.
Okay.
Robert Forster's in it as well. It's a fun little flick.
Oh, well, you got me at Robert Forster.
There you go, man. There you go. Before I forget, Katie had some suggestions. I'll throw them in there.
Okay.
Every year around this time, she watches Terry Gilliam's Brazil.
I never thought of that as a holiday film.
It's been a while since I've watched it. I need to revisit that one again, obviously.
I have the Criterion edition. I think that's the same one you held up. But
yeah. No, this is mine.
Okay.
It can't be the same one. Oh, you mean edition. Gotcha.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Nathan.
She also watches the X-Files Christmas episode Humbug.
Okay. This is season 5.
I don't know.
I don't
I'm not
remember.
a huge X-Files guy, so
don't recall.
You tell me. And then she said she also realized recently that, to fit in our category of unconventional Christmas movies, that American Psycho fits in that category.
Phew, okay.
That's Katie's list.
But no Arbor Day movies to speak of. What's going on with that? I don't know.
Well, we do have It's Arbor Day, Charlie Brown, the TV special, but that's it. That's all I know.
Oh, okay. That's a damn shame.
That's the joke. Look who's talking now. It's the dogs, not the baby anymore. Yeah. Although the baby really is talking because it's no longer a baby.
Stop.
Move on. Two babies.
We're moving on.